الليل وجعلنا آية النهار مبصرة لتبتغوا فضلا من ربكم ولتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب وكل شيء فصلناه تفصيلا وكل إنسان ألزمناه طائره في عنقه ونخرج له يوم القيامة كتابا يلقاه منشورا اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا من اهتدى فإنما يهتدي لنفسه ومن ضل فإنما يضل عليها ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وما كنا معذبين حتى نبعث رسولا صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم إني كلما قلت قد تهيأت وتعبأت وقمت للصلاة بين يديك وناجيتك ألقيت علي نعاسا إذا أنا صليت وسلبتني مناجاتك إذا أنا ناجيت مالي كلما قلت قد صلحت سريرتي وقرب من مجالس التوابين مجلسي عرضت لي بلية أزالت قدمي عرضت لي بلية أزالت قدمي وحالت بيني وبين خدمتك يا سيدي سيدي أنا الصغير الذي ربيته وأنا الجاهل الذي علمته، وأنا الضال الذي هديته، وأنا الوضيع الذي رفعته، وأنا الخائف الذي آمنته، والجائع الذي أشبعته، والعطشان الذي أرويته، مولاي والعار الذي كسوته، والفقير الذي أغنيته، والضعيف الذي قويته، والذليل الذي أعززته، والسقيم الذي شفيته، والسائل الذي أعطيته، والمذنب الذي سترته، والخاطئ الذي أقلته، وأنا القليل الذي كثرته، والمستضعف الذي نصرته، وأنا الطريد الذي آويته. أنا يا رب الذي لم أستحيك في الخلاء، ولم أراقبك في الملأ. أنا صاحب الدواهي العظمى، أنا الذي على سيده اجترى، أنا الذي عصيت جبار السماء، أنا الذي أعطيت على معاصي الجليل الرشا، أنا الذي حين بشرت بها خرجت إليها أسعى، أنا الذي أمهلتني فبرعوت، وسترت علي فما استحييت. الله أكبر.
We all subscribe to many things without thinking. Movies, streaming, entertainment. But what about a subscription that carries meaning? Imam Hussein TV broadcasts a message of Karbala across 5 global TV channels in 5 languages every single day. When 14,000 people give just 10 USD or 7 British pounds a month, these channels stay on air, sharing the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt with the world. This isn't just a donation, it's a subscription with purpose. Join us today. Visit www.imamhusseinfree.tv/donate. Become a partner today. Imam Hussein TV, your gateway to Karbala.
علي 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 علي
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, and welcome to Salam Ya Ali, a live Ziyarat show in cooperation with Imam Hussein Charity, giving you the opportunity not only to send your salams to Amir al-Mu'mineen, not only to send your salams to Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam and Abu Fatl Abbas alayhi salam, but also to help our brothers and sisters with the wilayah during this holy month of Ramadan in areas such as Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, places in Africa, with the different campaigns we have with Imam Hussein Charity. Over the last few nights, we've been fundraising for different campaigns, whether it was the iftar pack, whether it was orphans, whether it was for Laylatul Qadr, where we were giving iftar, sadaqah, and also helping other orphans, whether it was for the water well campaign or the water aid campaign. And inshallah tonight, together as a community, we will be helping to raise funds for medical aid in Iraq. Inshallah, these are still the nights of destiny, the nights of Ramadan, where we can not only contribute support, but also we can change the lives of many. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the tawfiq to give with an open heart. And inshallah, all of your contributions and support will be amplified and multiplied with thawab and ajr, inshallah. Your donations, your support will change the lives of many and give them a more prosperous year until next Ramadan, inshallah. For more information, to get involved, you can scan the QR code, it's right below me here. Or you can visit www.imamhusseincharity.com, where all the campaigns are there. And also, not to forget that the phone lines are now open and you can call in live. I know that over the last few nights we've been commemorating the istishhad of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Over the last few nights we've been going towards our mosques, spending our evenings and nights in a'mal, in supplication, and looking at shrines like this. I believe this one is Najaf, where Amir al-Mu'mineen is resting and waiting for his grandson to come. We also have the shrine of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, where hundreds and thousands flock on nights like these, nights of destiny, nights of a'mal, nights of Ramadan. And inshallah, in the legacy of Amir al-Mu'mineen and the legacy of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, you can contribute and you can donate. You can donate to the water well, for Abu Abdullah Hussein is the one who died thirsty. You could donate towards the medical aid, where we help our brothers and sisters with different sort of services they require, whether it is a prescription, whether it's physiotherapy, or whether it's a prostate. There are many things that we can do to help our brothers and sisters with medical aid, because they don't have the capacity or the finances to help heal themselves. In Iraq, sometimes medicine can be a lot cheaper than it is in the UK, and sometimes treatment can be a lot more. But your donation can help hundreds of poor individuals receive urgent medical care that they need to provide medical assessment, physio and rehabilitation, and general medical aid that they need. Brothers and sisters, the phone lines are open. If you'd like to call in, 0203 515 1122, or if you need, you can use the WhatsApp number there below. You can contact the WhatsApp number and you can call straight in Or you can send your salams to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. You can send your salams to Abu Fadl Abbas. You can send your salams to Amir al-Mu'mineen. And inshallah, all your hajat, all your du'as, all your messages will be received by our masters. And inshallah, they will give you the tawfiq to go and help others in their name. Around 1.7 million people were estimated as needing health assistance under the WHO emergency appeal in Iraq. 1.7 million under WHO, World Health Organization, in Iraq alone. In Pakistan, it's estimated more than 50% of Pakistanis lack access to primary healthcare services. Approximately 14.5 million people were identified as a lack of access to essential health services due to limited medical supplies and reduced funding in Africa. Imagine how difficult it is for a basic necessity like healthcare and they don't have access to it. Imagine how they are going to tell their children that I can't help you, I can't go to work, I can't support you because I am unwell and I can't heal because I cannot access medical services that I require. Inshallah, brothers and sisters, we're going to give you the opportunity to scan the QR code, visit www.imamhusseincharity.com, where you can see some of the campaigns we are doing and help and contribute and support, and also give you guys an opportunity to phone in. We're going to go to a short break, but later inshallah I'll be joined by some of my guests. We have this evening 2 doctors who have medical experience and understand the necessity to help our communities, inshallah. We're going to go to a short break, so we'll see you after these messages.
ينعاد عليكي ينعاد عليكي الله معاك
مع السلامة.
نحن مقاومة
أنت في خطر ما لازم تضيعي
ما تخافي يا بنتي.
كيف حالك؟
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are watching Salam Ya Ali in association with Imam Hussein Charity, where tonight, inshallah, we will be making an attempt to help our brothers and sisters with medical aid. We all know and we all have family back home who sometimes struggle for medical services, who sometimes struggle for medical treatment. And together as a family, we try and collect what we can and give so that they can heal. But right now in Iraq, in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and places like Africa, there are many hundreds, thousands, and millions. Some children, some older, senior, some young and mature, but they don't have access to good medical services. They don't have access to good medical treatment, and they require your help. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite and introduce both my guests. We have Dr. Ammar Abdullah, mashallah, and also a familiar face at the channel, Dr. Shabir Tijani. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Very good.
Yeah?
Alhamdulillah, very good.
Fantastic.
All the better for seeing you.
Oh, mashallah, mashallah. Okay, so let's start off with Dr. Ammar. How's Ramadan been for you? We've just had Laylatul Qadr, we've had the nights of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Spiritually speaking, are you still working? So how do you balance the Ramadan with giving medical aid and medical treatment to your patients?
Well, I think in particular this year, far less challenging in particular compared to previous years. Alhamdulillah, shukr, I think it's something that we've grown up here, working. I don't think what we do is going to be particularly different to anybody else working as a plumber, as a construction worker. It all requires some demand. But alhamdulillah, shukr, it's continuing and there hasn't been much of an issue.
MashaAllah. Dr. Shabir, Laylatul Qadr, big nights. We've had 3 nights of Laylatul Qadr.
Alhamdulillah.
Some will argue even tonight and tomorrow night as well. So on these nights, you as a doctor, how do you balance between your amal, your ibadat? You might be invited to recite du'as and things.
Yes.
And at the same time, you've got to go and see patients as well.
Yeah, I think alhamdulillah we're in the position, in a blessed position to, number one, have the opportunity to be taking part in the Laylatul Qadr Amal. Also I've got the opportunity to recite as well, which is again another blessed opportunity. But work in itself is an ibadat. The job that we do, helping people, treating people, is an ibadat in itself. So I just feel very blessed that I'm in that position where, even though it can be a challenge, but that challenge comes with its own thawab as well.
So a question to both of you is, how does the Ahlul Bayt influence you when it comes to medicine and treating people?
I think in this field of work, the idea of khidmah or service is the biggest blessing. And I think working in particular in the NHS, the fact that you never need to be concerned about, does that patient have money, does he have the ability, wherever it may be. So from that point of view, we're phenomenally blessed that we can do what we want and provide that service for individuals. And I think regardless of where you come from, and the teaching from Ahlul Bayt, and in particular Ali ibn Abi Talib, in which he says the people are of 2 kinds. They're either your brother in faith or your equal in humanity. Wherever you do fi sabilillah and to the best of your ability. That doesn't change in whichever field of work that you do. So alhamdulillah, shukr. Ahlul Bayt are the actual route in which we've taken all our understanding, and we're just essentially tools of the Lord in which He's given us to be able to do such work.
Dr. Shabir, how does the Ahlul Bayt inspire you, motivate you with your medicine work?
Similar to Dr. Ammar, I think the Ahlul Bayt are one of the root reasons that I actually chose this career path in the first place. One of the main motivations for me going into this career path was, I was thinking to myself, how can I help the Imam of our time when he reappears? And there are very few careers that I thought of that would actually physically be able to be utilized in the mission of our Imam. So the root reason why I'm in this career in the first place is because of my love for the Ahlul Bayt. But also on a day-to-day basis, you see the opportunity to serve humanity. And we see all of our Imams have done that to some extent in their lifetime. So whenever we are faced with patients, we always sort of pull from the experiences and the lessons we've learned from the Ahlul Bayt.
Fantastic. Brothers and sisters, inshallah, we are going to be taking a deeper discussion into medicine, a deeper discussion into how you guys can help our brothers and sisters in Iraq, in Africa, Afghanistan, in Pakistan, to help them with medical triggers. Not all of us are medical professionals. Not all of us can give up our time and our skills and our knowledge to help our brothers and sisters with medical services. However, there is something else that we can give, and we can give charity. We can give from our own pockets to help a young lady fight diabetes, an older lady getting correct physio so that she can stand and walk and pray salah properly, giving an opportunity for a young man or an elderly gentleman to have eye surgery so that he can see better and he can go back to work. There are many case studies all over these countries within our community, and inshallah tonight we urge you guys to open up your hearts, soften your hearts on these nights of Qadr, on these nights of destiny, in the honor of Amir al-Mu'mineen, in honor of Abi Hussein alayhi salam, and inshallah together we can help our brothers and sisters, and inshallah we can give them a second chance at living again. You can call in on the numbers below, 0203 515 1122, or on the WhatsApp number, please call in if you want to send your salams to Abi Hussein or Amir al-Mu'mineen, you can do. And furthermore, if you are going to contribute and support, give us a call. Let us know why you'd like to donate, why you'd like to support, and inshallah you can motivate and inspire others to help with Imam Hussein Charity. Dr. Abdullah, let's start with yourself. And the first question for you is, a big part of your work involves patients facing limb loss. How do you support patients through that journey?
Well, I suppose in a single word, honesty.
Okay.
I will come across patients in two areas really with limb loss. Either the patients who come via the trauma pathway in which they've sustained injury, which there is no salvageable situation. Or there are patients who come in after significant peripheral vascular disease or cardiovascular disease in which they've essentially the arteries are completely blocked and you can't really construct. So whilst the first basis and the intention is to reconstruct their arteries to get enough blood flow down to their legs so that they can have a salvageable leg, in essence sometimes you have to have that discussion with them between saving their life, saving their limb, or even between you can save their limb but it may not be a useful limb which they'll be able to use. And so having that discussion in the first instance and being very honest with them is the most useful aspect. And then this is the very beginning of the journey. The most important aspect, I think, is following on from this, in which you take these patients through their journey. What do they expect? What can they do? So the operation itself may take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, but then they have a lifetime ahead of them as to what exactly is it that they're going to be faced with. And then taking them through that pathway. So my contribution to this may be only 20% in reality, but taking into consideration that long-term vision of what you can expect, what you're going to see, and really signposting where they need to go, involving the correct people, the physiotherapist, the occupational therapist, the limb fitting individuals, and knowing that this is a long-term journey and the fact that they're not going to be alone in this. The idea can terrify individuals, especially if you're particularly young. Even if you're old, if you're 80 years old and you're used to being quite independent and being told this. So my approach generally is twofold. Number one, honesty, and then secondly is to make sure that they're never left alone and to be with them through that entire process rather than that first instance where you come across with them. I
mean, I can understand it being very, very difficult. I mean, me just thinking about it, if I had to lose my pinky, it would be, I'll be like, whoa, like, this is too much. Even though it seems like it's very little, and you will survive and you can carry on with life. But losing a limb is absolutely terrifying. That you've had something for so long, and like they say, you don't know what you have until you lose it.
Correct.
And you also mentioned that there's a lot of trauma involved and helping and supporting the patients. My second question to you, Dr. Abdullah, is you treated trauma in some of the UK's busiest centres. When you think about conflict zones or regions where limited access of healthcare is, how different are the challenges doctors face there?
Immense, absolutely immense. As I explained to you before, my contribution into the whole patient pathway is about 20%. And so if I'm working at a major trauma centre, my operation, first of all, I'm supported by an array of different specialities, and I've got the luxury of all these imaging techniques and people that you can lean on. In the third world or in the trauma situation, you're really dealing with damage control. So somebody comes, you have to stop the bleeding immediately, the leg is all mangled. What can you do? You just need to save their life. You can do an operation. You could do an operation better in the field than you can do in the NHS maybe. The issue then goes on really to focus on what happens afterwards about these patients, as I talked about, especially when you're talking about limb loss. Because a lot of the time when we talk about limb loss, in the context of trauma, if you're talking about limb loss in the context of trauma, you're trying to save that patient's life. You've got the whole concept of the golden hour. And the idea is that you have to really get them out of here. But then what's going to happen next? How is this patient then going to survive the next week, month? And if he does survive, what's his quality of life going to be about? So I think the stark difference between the two may not necessarily be how much are we going to be able to reconstruct this guy's vessel to keep his leg on, but rather how much of a life can we give this individual after he sustained this? Because my job you can look at my job as a technical aspect. But then all the different facets of this that contribute to try and allow this person to become independent, to work for himself, put food on the table for his family. I think that's the bigger picture of what you have to focus on. And I think that's where a lot of the allied healthcare professionals and the bigger system rather than a single individual really come to shine and make a difference to people's lives.
Fantastic! Wow.
Don't forget the psychological impact of losing a limb as
Massive,
well.
absolutely
That's
massive.
something we have
Yeah.
much better access to here than in a third world country.
100%.
Yeah, Dr. Shabir, I mean, you see patients daily, and could you imagine yourself in somewhere like Iraq or places in Africa, which I know you have some ancestral heritage there, and what do you think the challenges are for those doctors? Let's say you're in a place where there's a war going on,
So ironically, I've actually done some charity work in Iraq myself.
Okay.
In a place called Haydariya. I don't know if you know it. I think it's
What's
in Iraq. I think
it's on the way to Qadr.
Yeah,
Haydariya.
so there's a little area called Haydariya. So we ran some free GP clinics there, and you actually see the level of depravity and how little these people have got access to. The types of illnesses we were seeing on a day-to-day basis was actually horrifying, and we were seeing patients every 2 minutes. Like in the NHS, the GPs are told that you see patients every 10 minutes. It must be really, really difficult for you to see patients every 10 minutes. But literally, we're seeing patients every 2 minutes over there, and there was a queue of 400 people waiting outside. First thing in the morning when they find out there's a GP service available.
Do you think it was that because the GPs are foreign and they have a bit more trust? Or is it just simply because there's not enough access?
People were coming to us with the most basic things that they did not have. There was a child who I saw who was having seizures like on a weekly basis.
Epilepsy sort of
Epilepsy, yeah. And they weren't on any treatment whatsoever. And we know as doctors that people who have seizures on a regular basis, who have epilepsy and they're not treated, are at higher risk of dying because of that.
Okay.
So basic things like that, they didn't have access to doctors. It just, in the NHS, in the world that we live in, that is unfathomable. But over there, even the basic illnesses weren't being addressed and looked at.
I think we all feel that sometimes we take our medical situation and services for granted. Sometimes, I remember when I went to Iraq, one of my friends who lives there at the channel, he asked me to bring him ibuprofen.
Yeah.
He goes, I need ibuprofen, bring as much as you can. My missus is pregnant, and she, with some of the, some of the side effects, or she's getting headaches and body aches. Can you please bring ibuprofen? So I went to the local pound shop, and they were like, oh, you can only take 6.
Yeah.
So I had to send my brother as well, but I bought a whole pack. But something as simple as ibuprofen or paracetamol, is not available in these countries. The lack of education with epilepsy and other diseases, which are very, very common there, and we have a manageable treatment healthcare system for them, a process, and it's not available for these people. So brothers and sisters, you can scan the QR code which is right there, or you can visit www.imamhusseincharity.com and you can get involved with the medical aid. We're helping our brothers and sisters in Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, Pakistan. Your donations may even save a life, and we are here to help our brothers and sisters during these nights, especially these final nights of Ramadan, so that they can continue to fast and inshallah celebrate Eid in a better way with their families. Dr. Shabir, have you or anyone you know seen the effects of sadaqah you give, whether that's on ziyarah or outside of ziyarah?
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm very passionate about is water. Access to clean water. The reason being, I mean, I'm just completely off the topic, whenever you see or hear in the news about NASA going to find life on other planets, what's the first thing they look for?
Yeah.
They look for water, because water is the basic fundamental building blocks of life.
Yes.
And I was reading an article the other day that 2.2 billion people in the world, that's roughly 1 in 3 people, don't have access to clean water.
That's correct, yes.
And clean water is such a basic amenity that we take for granted, and not having access to that clean water can actually be the cause of so many diseases.
Okay.
And we know that more than 1 million children die every year from lack of access to clean water. Imagine, because of diarrhea. And how many of our kids get diarrhea on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? We see kids with diarrhea all the time in our practices, but yet more than 1 million children worldwide die because of diarrhea.
Wow.
Because they don't have access to clean water and they dehydrate.
So we can give sadaqah in like a water well or a water aid, or providing clean, safe, sanitized water, which will help with, would it cure some of the diseases, or will it prevent a lot of the disease from coming in the first place.
It would prevent it in the first place. Diseases like cholera, typhoid,
Yeah.
they all come about due to dirty water.
I see. So inshallah, yeah, it's very, very eye-opening how it's all linked. A deprived lifestyle or a difficult, impoverished lifestyle will not only, you can't eat properly, you can't drink properly, you can't even cure yourself or treat yourself properly, and it's just like a domino effect, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Of living in the war-torn country. Brothers and sisters, just imagine, like one glass of dirty water could lead to all of that. Could lead to, I'm not well, I can't treat myself, I can't heal, I can't now go to work, I can't look after my family. Next thing you know, I can't afford the rent, I'm being thrown out of the house. I think it's a domino effect, and we are so lucky we live here in the West where we have a healthcare system, a medical service that can help us to live and we can cure ourselves and we can heal, we can stay healthy, and we can live and provide. And it's our duty to provide to our brothers and sisters in these situations. The QR code is right below me. Visit www.imamhusseincharity.com and you can contribute, support, and inshallah make a difference to these people's lives. Dr. Amar Abdullah, from a medical perspective, how important are charitable initiatives that help provide healthcare, surgeries and rehabilitation to people who otherwise couldn't afford it?
I think they're phenomenally important. As I mentioned before, a surgeon plays one particular role, but if you look even in this country, in the UK, and you look at the effect of the charities before we go outside, it's charities like Diabetes UK, British Health Foundation. They're the individuals who take their patients right from the offset, start off with prevention, teach them this is what you need to look out for, this is how to improve your outcomes, this is what you need to be aware of in case things get bad. And then they'll look at what are the best recommendations. Independent bodies completely, not associated with any medical institutions or any governments, but they take this upon themselves. And normally the charities come from maybe something that they've got a family member or something of that sort, in which they've been motivated to get involved in. But essentially from prevention all the way through to treatment, holding even government here accountable. Diabetes UK as an example, they routinely publish their own audits and say, look, this is how well you're doing, this is what the guidelines say, why is the government failing on these aspects? And every time a new policy gets introduced, they have to have them as key stakeholders. So when I talk about the idea of a charity and what they can introduce and what they can be phenomenally powerful and the best patient advocate out there. And again, when we talk about the patient journey, when they've gone from the very beginning all the way through, it's the charities that really are engaged. So I talked to you before about the physiotherapist, the mental health that you talked about, the occupational medicine. A charity will, in many occasions, embody all of these different aspects. And as they embody all of these aspects, they're the first point of contact for a lot of these patients, because they can't expect to see the doctor every week, every other week. Are they having financial issues? Are they having problems finding the correct pharmacy to get their medication? Are they having are they then going to have problems finding the correct lymphating services? Whatever it may be, I'm focusing on this, but whatever it may be, that charity can be that linchpin that holds everything together. And it happens in the first world, where whether you're here or in America, these charities are phenomenally powerful. And then they branch out into other things like research, and they promote. So if you go to university within the medical field and you go and you apply for a PhD, whatever it may be, a lot of the research grants are given by charities. So they will tell you, look, we're really interested. Diabetes, we've got a problem with patients having difficulty looking at the medical records. Is there something you could look into? So it's something you might find quite trivial, but actually for somebody like us, somebody like yourself or myself, have no problem looking at our apps or whether it be Instagram or social media, and we can navigate all this. You may have the charity actually goes, no, look at those patients over the age of 70. They're not very tech literate. And so let's do something to make life easier. This is something that people would never have thought about. So the role of charities within the context of medical healthcare is phenomenally important, and they have really pushed things forward, held people to accountable in important areas, and allowed medicine or the outcomes of our interventions really to improve. So in answer to your question, phenomenally important.
Dr. Shabir, would you agree that charities have a significant role, not only helping the patients, but also, like Dr. Amar said, that we can get more involved with research and hold
Yes.
certain organisations accountable.
Yeah, they can hold the establishment to account. That's the big thing. Sometimes what we hear on the news, for example, there's always a spin on what we hear.
Yeah.
To, whenever there's an election going on or something like that, we hear what they think we want to hear.
Yeah.
But often what these charities do is they look beneath the surface. They look, as you said, they audit certain key metrics, and then they publish their own independent audits, and then they actually hold the establishment to account, which is a big thing. For us in the NHS, we are controlled by powers above us, and they tell us what we can and cannot do to an extent. Whereas these independent charities, they have a lot of power which goes beyond that. And they have direct access, direct communication with the government. And also, when we're talking sort of outside the sphere of the country, yes, internationally, we know how far certain charities branch out. I'm not going to mention individual charities here, but some charities, wherever you go in the world, I mentioned WHO before, the World Health Organization. Yeah. Doesn't matter which country in the world you go to, yeah, someone in that country would have heard of the WHO. Yeah. There's many charities out there like that. And they break borders, they break boundaries, and they help people worldwide. So charities are phenomenally powerful tools that we must make use of. And this is obviously one of those charities.
Fantastic answers. There you heard it. This is one of them charities that is making a difference, and we can't do it without your guys' help. So please, if you could contribute, support our brothers and sisters in Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, and Pakistan with medical aid. Just scan the QR code right there. Visit www.imamhusseincharity.com, where your money will be going towards hundreds of poor individuals receiving the urgent medical care that they need. You can help provide medical assessments, prosthetic limbs, physio and rehabilitation, and general medical care that they need. We're going to go to a short break where we're going to give you some messages, and after that, inshallah, we'll talk more with our two guests, our two doctors, inshallah. So join us after these short messages. There you saw a short video of situations that many of our brothers and sisters have to face with unsanitized water. Drinking dirty water can lead to more serious diseases, and with these diseases, most of our brothers and sisters do not have the medical service or medical treatments available to them, and therefore it becomes more and more difficult for them to continue to either educate themselves or go out to work and provide for their families. So inshallah, brothers and sisters, we're going to discuss more with our two guests, our two doctors, and not forgetting that this is a Ziyarat show, so you guys can call in to send your salams to Abu Abdullah Hussein, to Amir al-Mu'mineen, to Abu Fatah Abbas, by calling the number below 0203 515 1122, or the WhatsApp number will be there below, and inshallah you can send in your messages, your salams, your hajat, your du'as, and inshallah together as a community we can continue to help our brothers and sisters in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Africa, in Iraq with medical aid, inshallah. For more information, you can scan the QR code right there or visit www.imamhusseincharity.com. Dr. Ammar, from tonight and previous nights was Laylatul Qadr, a night centered around mercy and compassion. As a doctor, do you see parallels between faith and the work for caring of patients?
Yeah, I mean, the concept of faith is our understanding of faith, and what we do is really by our actions and what we offer and give back. That's essentially the bedrock, and how we're measured and how we can gauge an individual. And whether you look at the entire, if you look at the biographies of all the imams, that's essentially what they focus on. How do you give back? how do you contribute to others' success, their improvements, their health, whatever it may be. The idea of the concept of khidmah is something that is embedded in us from a young age based on the teachings of Ahlul Bayt.
Yes.
Now, relating that back to Laylat al-Qadr and what it is that we do, wherever it may be and wherever you are in the world, wherever your job, as long as that is your motivation, that's what you want to do, and that's your intention, then of course, I think it's part and parcel of what we do. So I wouldn't necessarily frame it as you're a doctor and it's specifically different, but wherever you are and whatever you do, the idea of giving back and you standing here and asking people to help others, without this kind of medium, how do other people in other parts of the world benefit? So I think everybody plays a role within the bigger system or the matrix in which we live in, and as long as everybody plays their part, then I think we've only got good things to look forward to, inshallah.
Excellent. Dr. Tajani, is it our responsibility to look after, the community when it comes to medical help?
The short answer is yes. The thing is that I'm still shocked to an extent that we have to stand here for an hour talking about this charity, and sometimes it feels like, I'm talking to the viewers at home, it feels like, when you take a crowbar and try and pry a window open, it feels like we're trying to pry people's wallets open to get them to donate, when actually we shouldn't have to stand here and ask people to donate. They should be wanting to donate, because at the end of the day, we're in the nights of Mawla Ali alayhi salam, and one of the key things that we've learned from the life of Mawla Ali alayhi salam is how to give back. He used to give back without even people knowing he was giving, and that's how we should be as a community. We should be looking for initiatives where we can make the world a better place, primarily for our own brothers and sisters, but for anyone in humanity. We should be looking for opportunities where we can give back, especially in these nights where actually your sadaqah, your efforts are given back to you in many more multiples.
Amplified, magnified.
Absolutely. So that's the way I feel about initiatives like this, about looking after our community, that we should be proactively doing that. Whereas I feel like often within our communities, it's kind of everyone just keeps themselves to themselves, and other people's problems are someone else's issue.
Yeah, I see that very often. It's part of my job here to try and help people understand that it's not their issue, it's a collective issue. Sometimes we need to take our minds out and understand that us as Shias, we're like a village, a community. It doesn't matter whether I'm from an Indo-Pak background or a Persian background or an Arab background or even South American background. We have brothers and sisters in Malaysia and in China and stuff. It doesn't matter about the background. We should see each other as equals, and we should see each other as our own. And that we should step out and help. Dr. Shabir, I'm going to ask you to recite in a bit. So if you'd like to look at find a piece.
I need to find something.
Yeah, you find something while I ask Dr. Ammar the next question. And that is, working in trauma and emergencies, you often see people at their most vulnerable. Has that shaped the way you view gratitude, service and purpose?
Well, certainly. I think ultimately you're always going to be grateful for what you have and what your family has when you look at people in particularly vulnerable spots. And when you talk about the word vulnerable, that really some people always have a picture in their heads of what does vulnerable really look like. But actually that term will encompass an array of different individuals, from the 80-year-old patient who lives alone and can't afford their heating, all the way down to the young people or an orphan. So that vulnerability encompasses all. And again, I keep coming back to the whole idea and the whole concept where there has to be an institution or a group of individuals who actually look at these vulnerable people and say, how can we really improve their quality of life and help them? I'll give you an example. There was an initiative once here in the NHS in which people looked at these elderly patients and said, the dentures that people use. The dentures that people use, they go, oh, this is costing us £2,000 per patient. We found another lab that can make it for £1,000 per patient. And so then they went and they gave away these dentures. And then they were very happy with themselves, pat themselves on the back. They go, this is brilliant. We've saved so much money and we've given dentures to people. Then a charity, Age UK, and these individuals went back and they did an audit. and they looked at these individuals, how are you doing with the new dentures, what's going on? And they found out 90% of these people took their dentures, their new dentures, they threw them in the bin, and they just continued to eat soup for the rest of the time. They didn't have a voice to speak up for them. They didn't have anything. So it was a fake economy.
Yeah.
But what really brought all this, tied this all together and brought it home was the idea of these charities and these individuals following up these people, these vulnerable individuals, and say, look, hold on a second, something's not right here. You've still spent money, albeit half the amount. But you've made these patients are out of pocket and they're a lot worse off. And not only that, this false economy that you've created have put these patients in a far worse position than they once were.
So accountability.
Very much so. So the idea of vulnerability, if you look out, vulnerability is all over. It's everywhere we look. And to have an understanding of who can be vulnerable, where they're vulnerable, and how to appreciate that vulnerability in order to counteract it, I think is particularly important.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Dr. Shabir, are you ready to recite something?
Yes, I've managed to find something.
We've got about 4 minutes left, so
yes, inshallah.
2 minutes of your time, inshallah, so not too much.
Yes, inshallah. If we have a salawat from everybody, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Especially in these nights of destiny, we say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my heart is full of dishonor and shame. I have turned away again and again, committing mistakes with nothing to gain. Yet I have the cheek to sit and complain. Because of my wrongs, my soul has been burnt. The chances you gave, but I never learned. When I am alone with nowhere to turn, I find solitude. To you I return. Ya Rahim, Ya Kareem, Ya Muqim, Ya Azim, Ya Alim, Ya Halim, Ya Hakim, Ya Rab. नहीं है मिसाल मौला तेरी रहमतों से हमको मिली. ये दोनों जहां सितारे सभी, ये शम्सो कमर की सब रोशनी. तुझे ढूंढती है मेरी निगाह, नहीं मेरा कोई तेरे सिवा. तू ही जिंदगी का है आसरा, मैं देता रहूँगा हर दम सदा. या रहीमो या करीम, या मुकीमो या अज़ीम, या अलीमो या हलीमो या हकीम, या रब. Enjoying our lives whilst we are at rest. And this is a special message for all of our viewers, especially about the charities. Enjoying our lives whilst we are at rest. We are not aware the poor are oppressed. They are crying out in a voice so distressed. They are vulnerable. Their rights are suppressed. With all of my heart, I pray for that day when orphans will smile, there will be no pain. There will be an end to all tyrant reigns. A world in which love and peace will prevail. Ya Rahimu, Ya Kareem, Ya Muqimu, Ya Azim, Ya Alimu, Ya Halimu, Ya Hakim, Ya Rab.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Thank you very much, Dr. Shabir Tajani, and also Dr. Ammar Abdullah, for your insight, your experiences. Any final thoughts you'd like to give to our viewers in terms of I think we'll get Dr. Tajani to do one on charity and why they should contribute.
So as I said earlier, there should be no reason why we have to stand here and ask you to donate. You should be proactively trying to donate in the name of Mawla Ali alayhi salam, and also in these nights of Ramadan where your thawab is multiplied several fold. I just ask you to, maybe if it's your ritual to go out for a takeaway on a Saturday night or on a Friday night, give up that takeaway for 1 week and donate even something small towards a charity, because even a small donation can go a long way.
Inshallah. Dr. Ammar, anything to help with medical advice for the viewers, especially during Ramadan time? I don't know, maybe stay hydrated, make sure you have your electrolytes, or don't eat too many dates. I don't know, whatever you want to tell them.
No, I think you talked a bit about vulnerability and the people in our community. We know that people from West Asia and the Indo-Pak communities, there are a higher risk of developing cardiovascular problems, diabetes and so on. And so I think we have all the services around, particularly in the West. And those who are possibly watching is to be aware of these and try and educate yourselves, because unfortunately you are the most disadvantaged, you're the most high risk. And not only are the high risk, you're the ones that show up latest with the problems, so that we can't really fix it by the time you show up. So the idea of education, there are an array of different languages and different styles. If you do have problems, if you're at the age of 40, go do your NHS health check at the age of 40, get yourself looked at, and just pay attention to yourselves.
Thank you very much, both doctors. Thank you for the viewers for joining us on this episode of Salam Ya Ali. Inshallah, we'll be back very, very soon. Once again, scan the QR code, www.imamhusseincharity.com, inshallah, and keep watching Imam Hussein TV 3. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
علي 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 علي
Today we are going to be attending a iftar and prepare not just food baskets this time, but also prepared meals with these orphans as inshallah one big family. Shahr Ramadan is not just about what you eat, it's also about who you sit with as you eat. So today, inshallah, I am ecstatic to sit with some of the most beautiful people I have ever had the honor to sit, inshallah. Let's go see what's for dinner. تفضلوا تفضلوا واحدة للنهاية لو سمحتوا. Adhan is just around the corner. We're really excited and getting ready to prepare our foods and open them up and get finally eating. But before that, we're going to all do, inshallah, a quick dua to thank Allah for the ni'mah that He's given us. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم لك صمنا وعلى رزقك أفطرنا. These moments are important because it's not about what they eat for these children, it's more about how they feel, recognized, acknowledged, loved, and ultimately cared for. And so inshallah, what better time is there to do all that and provide all that other than Shahr Ramadan, the month of rahmah and care and love and acknowledgement. It's moments like these that are priceless and invaluable, that are the result of all the hard work and contributions that have come through from many mu'mineen across the world, that give love and life and happiness and invaluable, precious moments that are priceless and cannot be repeated normally every single day. From us here at Imam Hussein Charity, and on behalf of all of these wonderful, beautiful angels, thank you, and Shahr Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you, Imam Hussein Charity.